Yo, Narcolepsy Boy 94 here, aka Malik. Today we're going to be doing a special tier list ranking for all the big video game players out there, like myself. We're going to be ranking every single WWE Smackdown Vs Raw video game and every single WWE 2K video game that's been released so far. Some of y'all may agree with these rankings, some of y'all may not. There have been some good games, and there have been some bad games that's been released. But I'm going to rank these in my opinion. Make sure you also hit that subscribe button right here for future video references in the future and more content. Alright, as you can see, this is the tier list, man. We're going to start with Smackdown Vs Raw, the first ever Smackdown Vs Raw video game. This was a good game. The first one came out in 2005. Vividly remember playing this game. I didn't play it too much as I did some of the other Smackdown vs. Raw video games, but I thoroughly enjoyed Smackdown vs. Raw. Also, an underrated soundtrack. SVR 05 had an underrated soundtrack. Y'all might want to go check out. Google it, YouTube it. You won't regret it. SVR 06, definitely in the GOAT category. One of the greatest WWE video games of all time. Like this right here, I spent so much unhealthy time playing this game. There was a point in time when I would go to school, come home, and just hop right on the PS2 and play this. Like, didn't even go outside to go hang out with my friends or anything. I was on this game 24/7 when it came out for probably about, a few months. Like, I was hooked on SVR 06, man. Y'all remember when Teddy Long got hit by that car? Wild storylines they used to do, bro. And the soundtrack, the soundtrack was banging too, man. SVR 06, man, nostalgic at its finest, bro. SVR 06 was a banger. Another game that's going in the GOAT category, Smackdown vs. Raw 2007, my personal favorite WWE video game of all time, and I personally think this is the best Smackdown vs. Raw game ever. Honestly, this also could have, a conversation to being the best WWE video game ever, in my opinion. Like, SVR 07 had zero flaws. Great soundtrack, great gameplay, great storylines. Like, oh my god, all around that game was just peak. If they remade this model for the consoles nowadays with the graphics, they would make millions, I feel like. I would repay this game with $70 for the PS5 right now to play it, with the same gameplay, the same everything, with the graphics they got nowadays for the games, and knowing that I'm going to pretty much replay this game all over again with everything that I've already played in the past, and I would totally be fine with it, because that game was so elite. Just one of the best video games of all time. SVR 08, this may be unpopular for some people, I feel like, but this is going in the great category for me. I know a lot of people who didn't like this. I know they switched up the gameplay and some of the controls for this game, but oh my god, I feel like SVR 08 just got a little bit too much hate for me. The story mode I thought was great. The gameplay was cool to me. Like, I thought the aspect of the game was dope. Plus, they also had a fire soundtrack as well, man. Like, I don't know, man. The old soundtracks used to hit way different for the SVR video games than they do nowadays, I feel like. But I feel like SVR 08 was highly underrated and underappreciated for a minute for me. Like, I feel like I got a little bit too much hate. Another one that may be unpopular, but this was trash. The worst SVR game of the series to me was SVR 09. There was nothing good about this game except the Road to WrestleMania. I did enjoy Road to WrestleMania, and I wish they honestly would bring that back for the 2K series now. But other than Road to WrestleMania, the gameplay was mid. Everything else was just average. Like, I just didn't enjoy playing this game all around. It's not a Smackdown vs. Raw video game that I've ever gone back and replayed since, it came out. Like, I just didn't enjoy it that much. It was very disappointing, too, especially with the other games it had, like the first Smackdown vs. Raw, 06, 07, and 08. Like, those games were amazing, and then SVR 09 just kind of was like, blah. That's just me, though. SVR 2010, honestly, I think it goes in the GOAT category. I feel like this is an underrated game that doesn't get talked about enough and appreciated enough. SVR 2010 I thought was really good. Great Road to WrestleMania, great gameplay. Soundtrack was dope. Like, I thought SVR 2010 was a phenomenal game all around, and I just feel like it doesn't get as much love and appreciation as it should. I'm also going to put SVR 11 in the GOAT category. The last Smackdown vs. Raw series video game they made. I also feel like this is a little bit underappreciated, man. The Road to WrestleMania was also dope. I love, they added the aspect where you can walk backstage in Road to WrestleMania and, interact with people backstage in the locker rooms and everything and start, like, fights and stuff. That was pretty cool. But I feel like SVR 11 doesn't also get talked about enough as much as, like, SVR 06 and 07. Obviously, those games are better, but I just feel like SVR 2010 and 11 were go-to games. Like, those are games that I've gone back and replayed multiple times, spent hours playing those games, spent days, months playing those games non-stop. Like, SVR 11, I think, belongs in the GOAT category. Now we're going to dive into the 2K series. So we have WWE 2K14, the first one they made. This was a good game. It was a solid game. It wasn't anything spectacular. I don't think it was below average or average, but I don't think it was great or goated either. Like, it was neutral. It was a neutral game. It was the first one they made. It was kind of giving a new feel because they had ended, the Smackdown vs. Raw series, and they had released some other games after that, like WWE 12, WWE 13, but those weren't, Smackdown vs. Raw or 2K related games. So they had, 2K finally come out with a WWE game, and it was exciting when they first announced it, but overall it was just a neutral game. WWE 2K15 I feel like was very average. This one also didn't hit. I don't think it was on par with 14. I definitely think 14 was better, but 15 was just very average, very mid. I know that word gets used a lot in the wrestling world, mid, but that's what it was, mid. WWE 2K16 I feel like was a great game. I enjoyed the Attitude Era storyline aspect of this game. You know, 2K16 to me was the first great WWE 2K game that really hit like, nah, they got something now. 2K16 was a banger. This hit, I feel like you got something in the right direction here, and I personally really enjoyed 2K16. I feel like this was the start of the right direction for 2K and making great games for WWE and making great WWE games for the fans. So 2K16 to me was a great game. WWE 2K17, if I'm being honest, 2K17, I'll put it in the good category. It was a solid game. It wasn't better than 16 for sure, but 17, you know, I really love that cover, by the way, with Brock Lesnar and the lightning and the fire and everything. Really dope cover, but other than that, it was a good game, nothing less. 2K18 to me was... 2K18 was also, it was good. I'll put it in the good category. I was thinking about average, but I don't think it's on the same par with 2K15. I think it's a little bit better than 2K15. I did enjoy this game a little bit more than 2K15 as well. 2K18 was pretty dope, man. Now that I'm remembering, you know, I did play online quite a bit with some friends. Shout out to y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. We played a lot online with 2K18. So 2K18 was pretty solid. It was a pretty solid, dope game. All right. So WWE 2K19, hear me out. I have my reasons. I'm putting this in the GOAT category. For the main reasons, which I'm going to explain after the next game we get into, this held it down for 3 freaking years. If people can go back and remember, we played 2K19 so much and never really got tired of it, I feel like. I feel like it was a good game that everybody enjoyed all around. The community creations were good. The story mode I thought was dope. The gameplay online was great. And the gameplay in general was good too. Like, 2K19 held it down for us for 3 years. And we're going to get to the reasons why right now. But I feel like 2K19, I got to give it its flowers, man. I got to put it in the GOAT category. Now, yes, I wouldn't say it's as GOATed as Smackdown vs Raw 2006, 7, 10, and 11, but I mean, just for the importance and impact that it had and holding it down, I gotta put it in the GOAT category. I feel like it deserves to be there, bro, because 2K19 held it down. WWE 2K20, gotta put it in the GOAT category, and here's why. There's nothing this was. No. 2K20, trash, garbage. Oh my gosh, maybe the worst WWE video game I've ever played in my life. Easily a top 3 worst WWE video game ever, and it may not be 2 or 3. It may be 1. I mean, what's to say? The glitches were insane in this game. The glitches were just unbelievable. The gameplay was doo-doo. Like, the animations were trash. They fumbled the bag so heavily with 2K20. They didn't even make a WWE 2K21. 2K took an extra year to think about how to build a new, proper, good WWE 2K video game for us, because 2K20 was so terrible and the fans crapped all over it so much, they had to take another year to give us another WWE 2K game because 2K20 was so atrocious. This was a travesty. 2K20 is one of the worst games ever. It was so bad, bro. Oh my god. I was watching a combination video of, like, you know, the glitches in the game like a few days ago, bro. The glitches were crazy in this game. They were crazy. The glitches were just so unbelievable in this game. It was like, there's no way they worked on this game and then released it to the fans and thought it was going to be good. They didn't check this game before they released it. Like, it was, oh my god, it's all around terrible. It's definitely trash. 2K Battlegrounds, I'll put it in the average category. You know, I really didn't spend, you know, too much time playing this game because this was just a filler game for us because 2K20 was so bad. They took an extra year, you know, to give us another WWE 2K game. So it was a filler game for us, you know, until we can get to 2K22. But I put it in the average category. Definitely not as bad as 2K20 or as terrible as 09 to me. So I'll put it in the average category. WWE 2K22, you know, if I'm being honest, it's a great game. Gotta keep it 100. It's a great game, man. They definitely made up, man. Taking that extra year was a good thing for 2K because they made up for 2K20. Because if 2K22 had flopped as bad as 2K20, 2K might have been done for. They might have had to move to somebody else. But 2K22 was a great game, man. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, the animations were good. The glitches weren't as terrible as they were in 2K20. The gameplay was dope. The story mode was dope as well. I think a lot of people really enjoyed this game. You know, 2K22, I really enjoyed that game. Also, 2K23, I'm going to put in the great category. Now, the Showcase John Cena mode was... The Showcase modes haven't been that great, I'm not gonna lie. You know, Rey Mysterio Showcase mode wasn't that awesome to me, and John Cena's wasn't that awesome either. But, you know, other than that, I like 2K23 adding War Games was a dub, adding War Games online. You know, GM mode was great for 2K22 and 23. They also improved a lot of things from 22 to 23 that we wanted in 23. So I like 23, man. The only thing that I hope for in the future is that we get GM mode online for future WWE 2K games, because if you add GM mode online, that's legendary right there. That would make the game so legendary, because a lot of us love GM mode, but if we can play GM mode online with our friends, especially now, you know, in 2K23, they added more slots for GM mode too, so you could have more GMs and more people play. If we can play GM mode online, that would be incredible. That would be incredible, man. So 2K23, I'm going to put in the great category. I think it was a great game. So this is my tier list ranking right here. Some of y'all may agree, some of y'all may not agree. In the GOAT category, I have SmackDown Vs Raw 06, 07, 2010, 2011, and WWE 2K19. In the great category, I have SmackDown Vs Raw 08, WWE 2K16, 22, and 23. In the good category, I have the first ever SmackDown Vs Raw, WWE 2K14, 17, and 18. In the average category, I have WWE 2K15 and WWE 2K Battlegrounds. And in the trash category, I have SmackDown Vs Raw 2009 and WWE 2K20. Some of y'all may agree with this, some of y'all may not, but that's cool. But make sure you hit that subscribe button for more tier list rankings and more videos and more content in the future, man. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all rock with this tier list ranking or not? Some of y'all may rock with it, some of y'all may not, but these are just my opinions. I like the rankings that I have. I feel like it's valid. I feel like every game it's where it should be.